them. And, you know, it did take a Clinton to clean after the first Bush, and I think it might take another one to clean up after the second Bush.
Senators, stand by. We're going to take another quick break. We have a lot more to go through. Remember, you can go through cnnpolitics.com and you can monitor what's going on. There's a lively discussion going on at cnnpolitics.com right now. We'll take a short break. Much more of this Democratic presidential debate right after this. 3 minutes. We're at the Kodak Theater here in Los Angeles. Thousands of people are outside. Hillary Clinton supporters, Barack Obama supporters. We're continuing this presidential debate right now. The next question goes to Doyle McManus.
Question about the issue of Iraq. Senator Clinton, you've both called for a gradual withdrawal of combat troops from Iraq, but Senator Obama says he wants all combat troops out within 16 months of his inauguration, and you haven't offered a specific end date. Why shouldn't voters worry that your position could turn into an open-ended commitment?
Well, because, Doyle, I have been very clear in saying that I will begin to withdraw troops in 60 days. I believe that it will take me 1 to 2 brigades a month, depending upon how many troops we have there, and that nearly all of them should be out within a year. It is imperative, though, that we actually plan and execute this right. And you may remember last spring I got into quite a back and forth with the Pentagon because I was concerned they were not planning for withdrawal because that was contrary to their strategy or their stated position. And I began to press them to let us know, and they were very resistant and gave only cursory information to us. So I've said that I will ask the Joint Chiefs and the Secretary of Defense and my security advisors the very first day I'm president to begin to draw up such a plan so that we can withdraw. But I just want to be very clear with people that it's not only bringing our young men and women and our equipment out, which is dangerous. They've got to go down those same roads where they have been subjected to bombing and so much loss of life and injury. We have to think about what we're going to do with the more than 100,000 American civilians who are there, working for the embassy, working for businesses, working for charities. And I also believe we've got to figure out what to do with the Iraqis who sided with us. You know, a lot of the drivers and translators saved so many of our young men and women's lives, and I don't think we can walk out on them without having some plan as to how to take care of those who are targeted. At the same time, we've got to tell the Iraqi government there is no more time. They're out of time. They've got to make the tough decisions they have avoided making. They've got to take responsibility for their own country. And you know, I think both Barack and I have tried in these debates and sometimes been pushed by some of our opponents to be as responsible as we can be, because we know that this president, based on what he said in the State of the Union, intends to leave at least 130,000, if not more, troops in Iraq as he exits. It's the most irresponsible abdication of what should be a presidential commitment to end what he started. So we will inherit it, and therefore I will do everything I can to get as many of our troops out as quickly as possible, taking into account all of these contingencies that we're going to have to contend with once we're in charge and once we can get into the Pentagon to figure out what's really there and what's going on.
But you can't make a commitment, though, that 16 months after your inauguration will be enough time?
I certainly hope it will be. And I've said I hope to have nearly all of them out within a year.
Go ahead.
Well, you know, I think it is important for us to be as careful getting out as we were careless getting in. So I have said very clearly, I will end this war. We will not have a permanent occupation, and we will not have permanent bases in Iraq. When John McCain suggests that we might be there 100 years, that, I think, indicates a profound lack of understanding that we've got a whole host of global threats out there, including Iraq, but we've got a big problem right now in Afghanistan. Pakistan is of great concern. We are neglecting potentially our foreign policy with respect to Latin America. China is strengthening, and if we neglect our economy by spending $200 billion every year in this war that has not made us more safe, that is undermining our long-term security.
All right.
Now, but I do think it is important for us to set a date. And the reason I think it is important is because if we are going to send a signal to the Iraqis that we are serious and prompt the Shia, the Sunni, and the Kurds to actually come together and negotiate, they have to have clarity about how serious we are. It can't be muddy. It can't be fuzzy. They've got to know that we are serious about this process. And I also think we've got to be very clear about what our mission is. There may be a difference here between Senator Clinton and myself in terms of the force structures that we would leave behind. Both of us have said we would make sure that our embassies and our civilians are protected. Both of us have said that we've got to care for Iraqi civilians, including the 4 million who've been displaced already. We already have a humanitarian crisis, and we have not taken those responsibilities seriously. We both have said that we need to have a strike force that can take out potential terrorist bases that get set up in Iraq. But the one thing that I think is very important is that we not get mission creep, and we not start suggesting that we should have troops in Iraq to blunt Iranian influence. If we were concerned about Iranian influence, we should not have had this government installed in the first place. We shouldn't have invaded in the first place. It was part of the reason that I think it was such a profound strategic error for us to go into this war in the first place. And that's one of the reasons why I think I will be, just to finish up this point, I think I will be the Democrat who will be most effective in going up against a John McCain or any other Republican, because they all want basically a continuation of George Bush's policies, because I will offer a clear contrast. As somebody who never supported this war, thought it was a bad idea, I don't want to just end the war, but I want to end the mindset that got us in the war in the first place. That's the kind of leadership I intend to provide as President of the United States.
And of course,
Senator Clinton, that's a clear swipe at you.
Really?
I wouldn't call it a swipe.
We're having such a good time. We are. We're having a wonderful time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I am so proud to have the support of leaders like Congresswoman Maxine Waters, who's here with us tonight, who is one of the original conveners of the Out of Iraq Caucus, because it is imperative that as we move forward with what will be a very difficult process, there are no good options here. We have to untangle ourselves and navigate through some very treacherous terrain. And as we do so, it is absolutely clear to me that we have to send several messages at once. Yes, we are withdrawing, and I personally believe that is the best message to send to the Iraqis, that they need to know that they have to get serious, because so far they have been under the illusion that the Bush administration and the Republicans, who have more of the same, will be there indefinitely. And I also think it's important to send that message to the region, because I think that Iran, Syria, the other countries in the neighborhood are going to find themselves in a very difficult position as we withdraw. You know, be careful what you wish for. They will be dragged into what is sectarian divisiveness with many different factions among the three main groups. Therefore, we need to start diplomatic efforts immediately, getting the Iranians, the Syrians, and others to the table. It's in their interest, it's in our interest, and it certainly is in the Iraqis' interest. Right. The other point that I want to underscore, though, is that I asked Barack a